Let's get ourselves connected. Gotta get yourself connected.
A lot of people interested in high definition. You can see that with the sales of flat screen TVs. Well, what does high definition mean? We throw out all these numbers all the time, like 1080, 720, 480. Got Brent de Waal from Sony to help us understand and demystify it. Once again, thanks for coming on the show.
No problem.
Kind of confusing for a lot of consumers. They go into the electronics store and they're kind of bombarded with all these numbers. And do they really need like a 1080p TV or a 720? And I thought maybe we'd look at this chart that you brought here, and I thought it clearly illustrates how big the picture sizes are.
Well, I think one of the big problems is just understanding what high-def TV is, because it has so many pieces. You need a TV, and you need content to put in the TV, and then you've got all the cables to hook it up. So we'll start with the TV, and basically this chart here shows us the relative resolution, so the number of actual dots that are on your screen. This little box here is the TV we all grew up with. That's how much resolution you can get on there.
Which we thought was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And moving on, when we started to get high definition, and this is where the confusing part happens, this green box here is considered high definition. So it's got 1280 pixels across and 720 down, and that's what they call 720p. But anything between that and this, what we often call full HD, 1920 by 1080, is also considered full definition. So generally people are picking this resolution or this resolution, and all their other high-def components will make the picture fit. So in one sense you're being asked to make a decision. In the other sense, when you hook it all up, the technology is making everything work. So with high-def, a lot of times people will buy one piece of the puzzle and they won't upgrade the other parts, and so they're not getting that full high-def experience. So we start at 720 or 1080, and then we start to look at what sources are going to put all those pixels on our screen.
Well, let's go to the sources
Okay.
here. So, we have DVD players, which we're all used to right now, and that's basically, we think it's great quality, and it is, but it literally is only still that small box here. It's 480 lines of resolution.
Right, and generally when we hook those up, we'd use cables like this. This is a component cable, and so there's 6 ends. You've got to put 3 on your DVD player and 3 on the TV. You've got to get them all in the right place. Then you've got to put in sound and all these kinds of things. So the engineers came up with something called HDMI, which is this single cable. And so this one cable, you plug it into the back and right here, and it has the audio and the video all with it. So you just plug this into the TV and you're all hooked up. The final thing with hookups is you'll have other components. You might have your PlayStation, you might have your cable box, and they'll have other HDMIs, and you might run out on your TV. Because people usually don't buy all this stuff at once. They might have an older receiver, a newer TV, an older DVD player, and they'll incrementally add to their systems. So one of the things when you find yourself with 2 or 3 HDMI sources and only 2 plugs in the back of your TV, you might want to go to a receiver that has HDMI switching. And so these AV receivers allow you to actually take the signals and have 4 up to, we have a receiver that has 7 inputs into it. So you can put anything you want and it'll do all the switching. Again, it works with all that communication. So you're plugging in many fewer wires and having a much nicer experience. And when you have the right source and it's hooked up correctly, then you can spend your time enjoying the high-definition TV instead of hooking it up and playing with it and getting on the back there.
So obviously 3 main things here. Obviously, you've got to have the right television, but beyond that, you've got to have the right source as well, the content, whether that's like a Blu-ray player, a satellite or a digital cable box or an HD cable box, and of course then the connections. You've got to make sure you have the right cable going in there or it's going to not work.
Right.
So where can people find out more information about some of the stuff we've talked about here?
Well, we have information on our website for sonystyle.ca, which has all the Sony information. But a lot of people, if they want to really get into it, Wikipedia has some great articles, and Wikipedia is sort of hit and miss at times. But for things like an HDMI specification or a high-definition specification, it's a great place for people to go and start to figure out what the technology is. It starts easy, it gets as complex as you want, and that might be a good resource as well.
Great. Brent de Waal from Sony talking about HD TV. So hopefully that demystified a bit of it for you and you can get the right signal into your TV.